Buccaneer, go good with the Buccaneer. Wanna shoot the cannon like a Buccaneer. Buccaneer, Buccaneer, Buccaneer. When I pass like a Buccaneer. How you on the ship, you ain't a Buccaneer.
Merry New Year, Merry New Year. I hope everything went well for you guys during the holidays, that you're nice and settled. Excited to put 2020 behind you, moving forward to positive things and bright futures and healthy lives. As we as a country, we come together and still facing the pandemic. We look forward in my camp to positive things happening in 2021. And it first starts with having a positive mindset. So as we explore certain topics today, and today is a day where started chaotic for me. My nanny called in sick this morning, Monday morning. I got to wake up, got jobs scheduled, got to be out there with my crew. Nanny calls in sick. Wife has to go to work. What do? Faced with a situation where I could complain, I could bicker, or I can just trust in God, what I like to do, that all will be well. And this morning, he actually worked it out for me. One of my workers actually brought some help with him this morning, which was right on time, something that I needed, and gives me an opportunity to leave the job site and come spend an hour with you on Monday morning. So thank you for tuning in. I know we've been off for a couple of weeks simply because of the holidays, and we want to get 2021 started off with a bang. So welcome back to all who have tuned in. You're listening to Mic'd Up on Monday Mornings with yours truly, Michael Clayton. We're running a little late this morning. DJ ANA, what happened? What happened?
I was trying to figure it out, like where you was at.
We're a few minutes late now.
I had to, play some tunes for you while
you
we
have
waited
my back.
for you.
DJ ANA in the house. She has my back when we pushing the clock. So this morning, I was thinking about all week, what I could share with our audience, and something has been pressed upon me to kind of get it off my chest, and seek advice from people, from viewers, from listeners. There may be something that you can learn. There may be something that you can help me learn. So I kind of want to start off 2021 taking a swing at, motivating my fathers out there. For those who haven't tuned in or tuning in for the first time, our format is we start with, an opening topics, hot topics, which we will talk about my Bucks. Go Bucks, baby. DJ ANA, you a Bucks fan?
I don't watch football.
You don't watch football?
No.
The Bucks are in the playoffs.
My nephew's favorite team is the Bucks, though.
Oh, that's good.
And my sister is the Falcons, and my mom's
is
the Raiders.
That's not too good.
So
they're not doing too good this year. But it's okay. I forgive you.
It's okay.
We're going to make you a Bucks fan. We start off with a few hot topics, and then we get into Michael's mess, which I like to tell you something that's going on in my life. And then I'll give you Michael's message, the lesson that I've learned from that message. And then we'll have a special guest. Today we're kind of taking a pause from having people in studio. And then we'll have an opportunity for those to call in. That number should be on your screen, 813-444-9588. That's 813-444-9588. Towards the end of the show, you can call in and help me out a little bit. So today's message I wanted to talk about is very simple. And as parents, we sometimes get caught up in thinking that we know everything because we older, right? And a lot of times we have to do a self-evaluation of ourselves to make sure that our relationships with our kids stay healthy and that are intact in a way where it would be beneficial to your children once they come of age. So the title of today's message is Finding Fault in Fatherhood. And this is just something that just came to me simply because, what I'm going through is I feel like I know what's best for my children. And I'm a father of 5, and I've had time to see things kind of come full circle. I have a 19-year-old daughter. I have a 14-year-old daughter. I have a 12-year-old son. I got a 3-year-old daughter. I got a 2-year-old daughter. A lot of estrogen in my house. And I've had to learn how to do things differently. I had to reevaluate myself to see how I did things wrong. And the price that I'm paying now, 19 years later, 14 years later in some cases, that I wish I had done things differently. So my goal today is to, one, motivate people, especially young adults, the repercussions that come along with being a parent, making sure that you're doing it responsibly, that you are in the confines of a marriage or a relationship, so that that child has the best atmosphere growing up to lean on and keep them stable throughout life. We need that in our community. We have too many broken homes. So when I was thinking about what I was going to share this week, it was only right for me to share exactly what I'm going through at this moment and have been going through for, probably about a month now. And off and on over years. Now, I told you I got 4 daughters. I have 1 son. And I started being a parent at a very young age. I was 19 years old. I was a freshman in college at LSU, playing football. My high school girlfriend got pregnant. And unfortunately, we weren't together when all of this came about. Our relationship was, we ended our relationship when I got to college. So I had to live a life, when my daughter was young, keeping her 3 days out of the week, every other weekend. I literally brought my daughter to class with me at LSU, would put her in a car seat 3 days out the week, in my night classes on Friday. Early morning classes, I would have her take a bottle, and she would be quiet while I'm sitting in algebra. These are the types of responsibilities that I had to take on as a 19-year-old. I remember my parents kind of upset, feeling like I was going to derail my future, because they knew the struggles that came along with having a child out of wedlock, having a child in college, having a child trying to, be the best that I can be in sports, but having to take care of my responsibilities. They knew how difficult that was. So a young man full of pride, I kind of told my parents, I got this, and so I made a conscious decision not to ask for any help from anybody. No money from my parents, no keep my daughter, no nothing, just out of spite and out of pride. I set these rules on myself and guidelines on myself that were probably detrimental to the relationship with my daughter and, my mom in the beginning, because I wanted to do everything on my own, but because I was doing it wrong, eventually that would come back to haunt me. So I have a daughter at 19 years old, and, I feel like I'm handling it right. I'm working out, and I'm giving my best in football. I'm doing everything that's necessary to make sure that I put myself in a position to provide for my daughter. And I did that. when she was 2 years old, I was drafted into the NFL, first round 15th pick to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2004. And after 2 years of being with my daughter every day, or 3 days out of the week and every other weekend, I grew attached. She was a part of my life, and one of the hardest things for me to do was to leave without her being with me. And I remember that like it was yesterday. And throughout my life and meeting my wife and building my family, I've had to operate with a child who lived in Baton Rouge at one time, and then she moved to Houston. And she just wasn't with her daddy every single day. It's not the ideal situation that you would want for any child to grow up without the father in the home. But nonetheless, it was my situation that I had put myself in, and I had to deal with it. Now, when you're young and you make it to the NFL and you feel like, all of your problems are solved because you got money to pretty much get you what you need, get you what you want, can provide, pay for schooling, can do all of these things, babysitters, fill in the gaps, anything that I'm lacking, I can pay for to kind of make up for my inefficiencies. And that's what I did. And over time, everything that I was doing, I felt that I was providing for my child in the right way, but I wasn't being a father to her. And when we come back, I'm going to expand more on this story. Title of this message is Finding Fault in Fatherhood. You're listening to Michael's Mess. We'll be back. Y'all stay tuned.
Buccaneer. One eye patch like a Buccaneer. How you on the ship, you ain't a Buccaneer.
In Touch Radio, where you can listen to a cruising flow of smooth soul and jazz, today's R&B, a fun touch of hip-hop and gospel.
All my music on one station.
Giving you a buffet of music, news, and entertainment. We're In Touch Radio.
Hello, Kubo. What have you got planned for today?
Come on, this way.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
It's the most powerful magic there is.
Head outside to discover incredible animals.
Wow.
And beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure. So grab your loved ones and explore a world of possibilities. Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
My teacher said that we should have a plan in case of an emergency. Do we have one?
First thing I'm gonna do is grab a flashlight with dead batteries.
I'm going to start randomly throwing clothes in the bag. You two will be hiding in the closet and Dad won't be able to find you.
And that's when we both start crying.
Uncontrollably. Can you pass the cutlets?
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency, who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311. Brought to you by the New York City Office of Emergency Management and the Ad Council.
In Touch Radio.
This is Joel Sylvain
And Kevin Carr.
and we're with Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives
Influencers.
share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. Come join us every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Power Moves.
On In Touch Radio.
Great morning, great morning. We're back. You're mic'd up on Monday morning with yours truly, Michael Clayton. The title of today's message is Finding Fault in Fathers or Fatherhood. I was telling a story about me having a child at 2 years old and the things that were required of me to be a father. When my daughter was 2 years old, one of the toughest things for me to do was to leave her when I got drafted to the Bucks. And because I came into money, I felt that I could fill in the gaps and pay for all of those things, those inefficiencies that I had, that I could pay for those things, pay for nannies, pay for toys, pay for trips, pay for all of these things, and then that would kind of make me a better father. And there are some things that transpired as my daughter would grow and as I played in the NFL that would happen that I did wrong. So because I wanted my daughter always to feel accepted in our home in Tampa, once Tina and I were married and we had other kids, it was tough when my daughter got older, when she would do things. It was tough for me to discipline her because I felt that I needed to make up for that time that I was away from her. And it was always a juggling act for me. Giving my oldest daughter leeway, who's 4 years older than my next youngest child. Letting her do things where I wouldn't let my daughter, who's 14-year-old now, I wouldn't let her do. And it just kind of caused this wedge in not only in my relationship with my daughter, my children, but it put a wedge between my wife and I, because I was treating the kids different, because I felt like I had to make up for that time that I was away, and that I didn't want to fill that time and space with discipline and correction, and making sure, however you discipline your kids, and all of that stuff. I ain't let nobody do that to my daughter. I just wanted her to enjoy her time. And I look at that now, now that she's 19 years old, and I see how much of a problem I created thinking that I was doing the right thing. It's very important, first of all, as a parent, that you parent your children at all times, that you show no respect of person, that regardless of if they're in the home or not, that you set certain guidelines and you stick to those standards no matter the cost. Because in the end, you create bad habits that grow and fester and turn into monsters 19 years later. And these are issues that I created as a father. No discipline, no correction, just love and gifts and trips. And, I thought that I was doing what was right. When I was young, I didn't know at the time the component of being a responsible parent. The parent that I saw my parents be to me. They were well into their 30s when I was growing up, and into their 40s when they were growing up. My kids are now 19, and I'm not even 40 yet. So I'm 15 years younger, or 12 years younger than my parents were. So I'm seeing life and parenthood through a different lens than they saw it. And I felt like I was being responsible. I felt like I was doing what was right by my child, but I was doing something that was a hindrance and something that was wrong. As my daughter grew up, I'm now faced with a situation where she's in college now. And I remember, and we've had our little spouts as a family, where, my daughter has, went off on me, or went off on, got into an exchange with my wife. And it's caused tension when those types of things happen. And it's always made me feel uncomfortable because I'm stuck in the middle. Like, who do I protect? I protect my wife. I protect my children. It was always a very compromising situation for a father to be in. And like I said, I take full responsibility simply because I decided to have a child at 19 and not be married. So this is what came along with that process. My purpose is to tell young people things that you may not think about. At the time, it's an enjoying moment. But when you produce a life, it's a lifetime of responsibility that is bigger than that one simple little moment, intimate moment. And these are the things that I didn't think about and I had to learn. And I had to try to master, and I still find myself trying to do better as a parent. And I think that that's very important for parents, not to ever be content, to always stay on the move to get better. So now I'm in a situation where, I put away money for my children's college fund, for them to go to school back when I was playing. And, I prepared for, college to be a certain price. $7,000-$10,000 a semester, 15 at the most. And like I said, I got 5 kids now. So I got one big fund for all of my kids. And, my daughter decides that she wants to go to LSU. And because she lived in Houston, she has to pay out of tuition fees to go to LSU. So it's twice as much as I thought it was going to be. $20,000 a semester. All right, very expensive. And I'm blessed that I put money away for their college fund, but at the same time, I didn't plan for it to be that much. But here I am held with a responsibility to make sure that my kids get a good education. She wants to go to LSU. So what does Daddy do? Daddy always gives your children anything that you want, even if it's not the best thing financially, or even if it's not the smartest thing. It's what baby wants, baby gets, and that I've learned to be a fault as well. It's not about, and with me, it was more so a pride thing that I went to LSU. My daughter wanted to, I shouldn't say wanted to walk in my footsteps, but she wanted to go to LSU, obviously because of the rich history that our family has with LSU, and it's all she's ever known. So I was excited that she didn't want to go to school in Houston after being raised in Houston after she was like 5 years old, up to high school. And she wanted to go to LSU. So Daddy's going to make it happen. Whatever it takes, whatever it costs, I'm going to make it happen. Think about the problems later, but baby girl got to get what she wants. So I do that. First semester, boom, $20,000. We put it up. We get her in school. She's doing well. Get her moved in. She's doing well. Now, the first time ever that my daughter has spent Christmas with us was supposed to be this past Christmas. It's crazy I'm saying this because my daughter always was with us in holidays. I just never wanted to. I never wanted to separate my daughter from her mom. So I never wanted to be that parent that says, this is my day. I have her this Christmas. It was important for me. I felt it was important for me to make sure that if my child's mother, who that's her only child, if she needed to be with her baby on Christmas, if that was important to her, I felt like as a father that, I owe that to the mother of my child to make sure that that's never an issue, because I was okay with not waking up on Christmas with my daughter. She'll fly out the day after. She'll come down the week before and then fly home and spend Christmas with her mom. That's how I chose to do things. Again, I tell you, maybe if I had to do it right or do it all over again, maybe I would have found it more important to make sure that those times are important moments. Looking back, my daughter's now 19 years old, and now it's her spending her first Christmas with us. Though, and I'm gonna be honest with you, my family is not foreign to her because she would come out for holidays and come out the whole summer, growing up. We just never had that wake up on Christmas as a family. I never had that. And if I had to do it all over again, I would have found the importance of how important that is to make sure that on those special holidays that your child enjoys those intimate moments and has memories of those. Because if you don't take it serious and you don't find it important, it will come back to haunt you. You won't get a call for Christmas. It won't be important to them if you don't put them in that position. So that was a fault that I created. I did that wrong. I should have made it important. I should have took my time when I had it. It should have been more important to me. Yet I gave it away. And I feel like if I had an opportunity to do that over again, I would have made sure that my child was with me more than she was on those special days, opposed to just giving those days to mom. Those days meant something, and I missed out on it, making a decision, thinking that I was looking out for her best interest. And I just feel like after years, I would have done that differently. Well, my daughter goes to LSU, and now we're in a situation where it's time for her to pay her tuition, another $20,000. And she's not really organized, and she's like, Dad, I got to pay my fee bill at the end of the week. So I'm like, okay, I got a week to kind of, see if I'm going to pull money out of the college fund, which that's what it's for, or can I hustle up some, do a few jobs, and can I pay for it out of my own pocket or pay half of it out of my own pocket? I got a week to do it. I work in a job that I can make that kind of money very quickly. Just a little sweat equity, and we can do it. So I don't have to take out more money than I was expecting out of the kids' college fund. So these are the types of things that I'm thinking about. She's saying, Daddy, fee bill got to get paid at the end of the week. So I'm thinking I got till Friday to pay the fee bill. Well, she wakes up on Monday with an attitude. And she says, my fee bill need to be paid tomorrow. You just need to write the check, with an attitude. And I'm like, wait a minute, young lady. And it all hit me that my daughter's whole life, every time she would get in one of these funks, I always would let it go. I would kind of stop it and, hey, you're not going to talk to me like that. And then shortly after, we going to the mall. I got to make it right with my baby girl. I never kind of handled those types of situations right. No discipline. And now that she's grown, she's developed this habit of talking to me any kind of way. And now that she's 19, she did it at one of the important moments in her life, and I just felt that it was time to learn a lesson, and I felt like I've put myself in a corner. When we come back, I'll finish up with Michael's mess and give you a message of what I've learned from growing up, being 19 years old, and becoming a father at 19 and finding all of the faults that I've been through in my life. Y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Buccaneer. One eye patch like a Buccaneer. How you on the ship, you ain't a Buccaneer. 12 shots on me like a Buccaneer. Diamonds on me shining cause a Buccaneer.
You've been injured, you deserve help from an attorney that knows how to handle your injury claim. This is Attorney Clayton Parrish from the Law Office of Clayton Parrish. For over a decade, I worked for insurance companies, and now I use that knowledge and experience to help people that have been injured. For a free consultation, call me, Attorney Clayton Parrish, at 813-413-7924. That's 813-413-7924. Or at ParrishLawOffice.com. At the Law Office of Clayton Parrish, we take the pain out of being hurt. Offices, Riverview.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all gotta see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan. We were able to get in touch with each other in no time. The whole experience was fine. If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Catch my show that will be all up in your business. Let's Talk Business with Cheryl J. Cuso. Every Wednesday at 12:31 p.m. My business experts provide insight for business entities and entrepreneurs. So join us every Wednesday from 12:31 p.m. to 1:31 p.m. at www.intouchnews.com. Catch my show.
In Touch Radio, the most loved station across the nation. In Touch Radio. Tell a friend. In Touch Radio.
Great morning. We're still on the grind. You mic'd up on Monday morning with yours truly, Michael Clayton. Let's get back into the Michael's message today. The title, if you're just tuning in, is Finding Fault in Fatherhood. Good morning, Gretchen and Thaddeus. Thank y'all for tuning in this morning. And thank you for your encouragement. I was telling the story of my daughter and, kind of putting all my family business out there in the street. Simply because, sometimes you need help. You need advice. You need people to talk to. You need to bounce ideas. People need to know what you're going through. You need to be transparent. People can learn from you. You can learn from people. That's what it's all about this morning. Many things that I felt that I've done the right way, I look back, and when I do a full evaluation, I say to myself, self, you need to check up. You've checked out and you need to check in. Certain things you haven't done right. And you need to swallow your pride, humble yourself, and you need to get it right. And that's what being great is all about. Not being content, always wanting to do better, always finding a way to do more, and finding your faults, recognizing your weaknesses so that you can build yourself up to be stronger. And the topic of today is how to be a better father. And the many faults that I've brought into my life and into my kids' life, thinking that I knew what was best for my children. As a young, inexperienced parent, I made some mistakes. And not disciplining my children when they were young was one of the biggest mistakes that I ever made. I love my daughters. I want that relationship to be intact. And I felt that as they grew older, because I didn't kind of just stop the disrespect and, I didn't cut it short like I would my son, It's easier for a dad to discipline his son, raising him to be a man, but it's very difficult for a father to get into disciplinary mode with your daughters. Very difficult. Talking to my mothers out there, it's very difficult for fathers to do because we cherish that relationship. We always want that relationship intact. In my opinion, if you are a good, loving father, one of the hardest things to go through in life is when your daughters are mad at you. Trust me, I got 4 daughters, so I experienced a lot of this. It's very difficult. You got to find joy in other things. Well, my daughter kind of talks to me. She's 19 years old. It's time to pay her second semester in college, and she's not organized. She's not telling me the exact date. She's not really fully understanding what is going to be required to pay $20,000 out of the air, and how I'm going to do that. Am I going to pull the money out of their college fund? Am I going to try to hustle up the money, the $20,000, to pay it cash? And how long do I have to do that? I got to the end of the week, and then you tell me on Monday it got to be paid tomorrow. Like, wait a minute, that's not the end of the week. So I'm feeling as a parent, should I have been more involved in these types of details? Did I go wrong allowing my child to be an adult and take care of her own things, or give that responsibility to her and her mother, expecting that it would all go well? I should have did more. As a father, I should have looked out for my daughter and had her back instead of just throwing her to the wolves, so to speak. Now, some people may think that that's a good thing. They need to be responsible, and I really feel that she needed to know these types of things, or at least she had an avenue to find out exactly when it was need to be paid. You just weren't taking the initiative. So part of that was me a little upset at that she wouldn't take that extra step to, this is your schooling. Take the responsibility. But as a father, I really feel like, now looking back, a daughter always needs daddy to do double checks. And even though we may say, go do it yourself, I should have done more. I wish I would have handled that differently now, looking back. And now it's, I didn't do my part the best that I could, and now I'm leaning on her to give me the information, and now she don't know how a fee bill getting paid, and she's frustrated, and she's speaking out with me in anger, and now for some strange reason, I feel like at 19 years old, it's time for you to learn your lesson, young lady. You're not going to talk to me this way. You don't understand how difficult it is to come up with $20,000, and you don't understand. And I'm telling her, you don't need to worry about your fee bill. It's going to get paid. You need to worry about how you're talking to me and the ramifications that's going to cause in our relationship, because you're not understanding these things, and I need you to learn that. And she wasn't having it at 19 years old. I remember showing my daughter her college fund, and just when she was like 15, and she was mad at me, and she told me, I don't need that. My mama got it. And she was 15, and I'm sitting there looking at her, and I'm just saying, I used to be that ignorant, and I knew she didn't understand. So I didn't hold her, I didn't fault her for that. She just was young, angry, mainly because daddy wasn't in the home with her, probably. But I didn't do that the right way. I didn't do that the right way. And now she's spouting out at me. She's being disrespectful, and she wasn't having it. The next day, she gets in an Uber and she leaves. 19 years old, gets in the Uber. She has siblings at home, and she leaves. I pull in out of one of my job sites, and I come in, and the Uber's in my front. She got her suitcase, haven't talked to me about leaving or nothing. She was supposed to spend her first Christmas. So I call her mom, and I say, listen, here's the deal. You get on that plane, and you're gonna have to figure this thing out by yourself. I'm trying to get her to not make emotional decisions. And I got into an argument with my 14-year-old daughter, and I said, listen, whenever you are emotional, you need to do a self-check. You need to stop. You don't need to make decisions when you're emotional. And everybody feels different about this subject. Some people feel like emotions are good. I feel like good emotions are good. I feel like bad emotions are bad. Now, it may be healthy to cry, but I'm simply and specifically talking about and talking to my children about making decisions when you are emotionally drained or stressed or feeling like you can't think straight because your emotions are all wind up. You need to stop. My children, they ain't hearing that. They hearing daddy don't want nothing to do with me if I'm emotional. They hearing don't come to me if you emotional. I say I don't do emotions. I said that to my daughter. Who says that to their daughter? I don't do emotions. When I look at it, it's like, I don't want you to be emotional. I don't want you to make decisions when you're emotional, but I didn't use my words right.
No.
I didn't use my words right.
No.
I messed it up. I dropped the ball on it. I meant well with what I was trying to say, and I meant what I said. When you're emotional, don't make bad decisions. Bad emotions are bad. They will get you in trouble.
But may I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What's a good emotion versus a bad emotion?
A good emotion is love, happiness,
That's a
fulfillment.
feeling.
Well, you get your emotions, things that come from love. Emotions when your kids do well, You know, you were proud of them. Those
But that's
are
a feeling.
all
though.
right. Well,
So emotions, everybody has emotions, and everybody has different emotions at different times,
Mhm.
right? So if you are telling them that you do not do emotions, then when can they be comfortable in their emotions, right? They have to be able to honor themselves. They
Right.
have to be able to say to you, Dad, I'm sad,
Right.
or Dad, I'm angry,
Right.
or Dad, I feel neglected, or
Right.
Dad, I feel this type of way. And you have to come from a space of, okay, I can understand that. Why do you feel that way,
Right.
right? And that may be a chance for them to be able to sit there in that emotion,
Yeah.
right? And go through that with you and not make the decision that you are anticipating that they will make because of the emotions.
Right. Right. Absolutely right. I 100% agree with you. And me being young and dumb feels like it's an easy fix. Telling a child, I don't want to deal with no emotions. I've been married 15 years. Emotions been giving me the blues.
Don't you deal with your wife's emotions?
I do, and I don't like it.
Okay, but she has emotions and
I
you
know,
deal with her
I know.
emotions.
And sometimes I can't stand it.
Okay, but children are people too,
I know.
right?
They
right?
are.
So they're entitled to their emotions
I
and
know.
they're entitled to feel how they feel. And even when you feel like you caused that emotion or you're not the cause of that emotion, it should be an open space where they're able to communicate their emotions with you and not feel like you're going to shut them down because you don't want to deal with the emotion.
Right. And those are the details. Those are the details where I want to get to. We feel like we're doing the right thing. You're trying to help your kids out. And you have good intentions. I want you to be protected. I don't want you making bad decisions when you're emotional. I want you to think about that. But because I have no empathy, because I have some kind of wall and fault in me that has built up that just when emotions are involved, I don't like to deal with it, and it's a problem that I have. It's a problem that I have because I want to be strong. Things are going on in the family. Mother-in-law is dealing with cancer. Family is emotional. Morale is down. As a man and a man of the house that has to carry the weight on your shoulders, I've drawn this wall and say, gotta be strong, can't be emotional. Gotta be strong. And at the end of the day, it's caused me to put a block up where it may have caused a problem, communication problem with my children. Finding fault in fatherhood is the title of this message. Nobody's perfect. And I'm only saying that to tell you this, at some point when you recognize that you've done something wrong, it's important to make it right. You can't just let things linger. And I think that a part of me getting this off my chest is helping me get the knowledge that I need so that I can have a healthy conversation with my daughter. I told my daughter after she left, listen, you're going to have to figure this out if you leave. Now, I'm giving her ultimatum, which probably wasn't the smart thing to do. And she left. She wasn't hearing that, wasn't controlling her. And I'm saying, well, listen, you let me know how it goes. You figure it out. That girl got her alone quick. I don't need you, Daddy. And I'm sitting like, uh-oh. Done backfired. So now what you do? I'm texting her every day. She don't want to talk to me. Daddy's baby girl just burning. I'm burning every day. Stressing. All right? And it ain't good. We got one more segment. Y'all hang in there. Got a quick little message. We're going to wrap it up. Y'all stay tuned.
Big start defense Buccaneer. Feel go good with the Buccaneer. Want me shoot a cannon like a Buccaneer. Hello?
It's Madam CJ, and I want you to listen to Trap Talk Radio at 8 p.m. every Thursday right here on In Touch News, www.intouchnews.com.
The Storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this.
Together.
All right, let's go.
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't. Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No.
Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this.
To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan. We were able to get in touch with each other in no time. The whole experience was fine. If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call Herman White at 961-6661. That's 961-6661.
Great morning. We're still pushing through. Thank y'all for joining us and staying with us. You're mic'd up on Monday morning with yours truly, Michael Clayton. As we come to our final segment of the show, get your phones ready to call in. Maybe you can offer me some information on my situation, on my mess. That number should be on your screen, 813-444-9588. Give us a call in and let's chat. Well, my daughter, I told you, she left. She wasn't having that. I gave her an ultimatum. Listen, you're going to have to figure it out if you leave. You know, you got siblings, you got a family here, and you just going to up and walk out on them. And, you know, she was emotional. And she made a decision when she was under some negative emotions. And I didn't want her to do that. I wanted her to learn that. We had just had a discussion about a week ago about making decisions when you're emotional. But she didn't receive that conversation. She heard something else. I said something wrong. And now she just up and leave out of nowhere. Didn't communicate, just up and leave. And she's telling me I'm going to figure it out. I'm like, all right, you grown now. You're 19 years old. I'm going to give you exactly what you're asking for. So we're about to learn this lesson. So I tell her, you know, you call me and let me know how it's going, how I can help you. And if you got it, then, hey, you got it. That's the decision you got to make. So she went out and she got her fee bill is paid somehow. I don't know if she got a loan. I don't know if her mama paid it. And I'm calling her to, you know, to kind of, you know, tell her that, you know, I still want to help her. And if she's taking a loan, I want to give her, you know, her money for her college, but she's not answering her phone right now. And she's not communicating. She's confused. She's confused right now. She did call me to apologize. Her apology went something like this. I'm sorry for telling you don't talk to me. I'm sorry for disrespecting you. And do you think you can give me, let me control my college fund, let me and my mom control my college fund? That was her apology to me. I said, absolutely not. That wasn't an apology for me. She thought it was, but it wasn't. We got to call her. Let's do it. Hello, you on the line with yours truly, Michael Clayton. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with this morning? Good morning. They ain't there. Call back. What did I do? I did something wrong, obviously. All I know is not a good feeling with your daughters being mad at you. I still try to do my part. Still trying to do my part. We got to call in. Let's do it.
Yes, my call dropped. So listen, your mess is something that a lot of fathers go through, especially when they have daughters. I got 3 daughters, and it was far more easier for me to discipline my son than it was to discipline my daughters. I can tell you that as a father of daughters and children, period, you're going to continually, always be raising them. And I just want you to know that you can handle this crisis because it's not a crisis like you think that it is. I want you to reflect back on your time when you were 19 years old and you had a daughter and you wanted to raise that daughter and nobody could tell you how to do it. Now come forward and then think about where your daughter is.
Yeah.
She is in a place where you were, and nobody can really tell her how to do it.
That's exactly right.
So you're going to have to continually, let me tell you what your daughter needs more than anything. She needs some caressing from her father. She needs just a hug. I mean, a really good hug, more than once. She needs kisses on the jaw, kisses on the forehead, and she needs to be reassured that you're going to be there because she kind of feels like you weren't there. And so now all of a sudden, the only thing that brings you closer to her is money. And you have to cut that out of the equation. Quite frankly, you don't really need to talk to your daughter to pay her tuition. You just go to LSU. She has a student number, and you pay that. You pay for it, and you can tell her later, oh, baby, your tuition is taken care of.
Yeah.
But it's not the money that's missing. You've got to put some love in the equation. I know that love is there, but it's how do I want to say this? It's always going to be work in progress, even after 38 years, because my oldest is 38. It's still, for me, work in progress. So stay in there, my brother. You are a strong father. You are a strong black man. Think about the thing that you did with Gary Hartsfield, the law of difference. You've got a lot of things that you can apply to your daughter and to your family. Good luck, my brother. Happy New Year to you. And peace and love to you.
I appreciate those words, man. That is special. Almost made me cry. Because I know at the end of the day, that's what I want to do. And I don't want to sound like I know it probably sounds like, I'm just a mean person. And what Mr. Darrell just said, honestly has been on the forefront of my mind. But I've also been faced with the decision of, when do you discipline your children? How do they learn if it's not a teachable moment? It's like I've always felt that, man, that would have just been so easy to do. But that's what I've always done. I've always just give in and give them whatever they're asking for. And I just felt I've in this situation, I felt more stressed had I given in because she still had an attitude. She was disrespectful still. And I wasn't stressed. I could feel the stress when I'm at odds with my children. I can feel it in my heart. I can feel it like I cry. You know what I mean? I can feel it. And when I thought about going and just paying the bill, those feelings it would well up in me like, I can't let this girl win.
What is she winning?
Like her attitude and being disrespectful, and that to me I would say that spirit.
But is she really winning though? Is that really a win?
Well,
for her?
I've just felt like that attitude was controlling me. That's what I felt.
But you've allowed her to control you.
And that's how it's always been. I've always allowed that spirit or that way of how she's carrying herself to control me. I always have given in, and that's why I wanted to bring this up. That's one of the faults that I have created in my life, of giving in. And now I'm in a situation where
you don't want to give
I don't want to give in.
So you have to have a conversation.
So I got to have a conversation.
A real conversation.
Yeah. And I offered to still, you know, I texted her and I said, listen, I want to send you your money. But I couldn't get away from being a disciplinarian. So I was like, you know, if you're going to continue not to talk, if you're going to continue to be disrespectful, I will give you the money for your college for this year so that you don't go in debt. But you got a full year to figure it out, because I feel like it wasn't fair to her. It wasn't fair to her mom for her to just be scrapping to pay tuition. It wasn't fair for her. But I just felt that at 19 years old, it was time to, you get what you're asking for, and here's the situation you wanted, and you're controlling it. And like Daryl said, I remember when I was 19, you couldn't tell me nothing.
And she is your child.
And
yes?
she's my child. So I can't. Now she act like she don't even want me to pay. And so I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. And yes, it is. I don't say stressful, because I stay prayed up. I pray every day for my children. I pray for this situation. I hope that those who are listening pray for me, because I know that at the end of the day, all is going to be well, because I love my child, love all my children. And I know that there will be a learning experience at the end of this journey, so that I can learn and do better, and be prepared for the next sibling that may go through something like this. So I appreciate the call in, Daryl. I appreciate everybody for tuning in for this hour. We'll be back next Monday. If we have a special guest, we'll let you know. But hey, live life, love life. All right, work hard. Be second to none. Give your very best effort in all that you do. And most importantly, I like to tell people, hey, love God. Love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. See you next Monday. Y'all be blessed.
You on the ship, you ain't a buccaneer. 12 shots on me like a buccaneer.